The Cloud Controls Matrix, CCM, provides a robust, standardized framework to address and map security controls for cloud environments. Thank you for joining us. I am excited to share insights on securing data centers with CCM v4. Welcome, everyone. I am Victor Monga, Head of Research at VTF University. Now, this is the one question someone asked me when I started on the journey of CCM v4. I'm going to pose that to you as well. Are you confident that your current cloud security framework covers every critical control you need, and especially if you have multi-cloud environment? Well, the Cloud Controls Matrix v4 aims to fill any gaps, ensure comprehensive coverage for cloud-based environments. And we're going to talk about that today. For those who are new to CCM, let's talk about it. What is Cloud Controls Matrix? I want to thank all of the cloud customers, providers, assurance. I think more than over 700 of the key stakeholders' inputs were actually considered. They help ensure the CCM reflects real-world demands and industry best practices. Not only CCM actually provides all of that guidance from the experts, CCM v4 aligns with global standards like ISO 27001, NIST Special Publication 853, PCI DSS, GDPR, you name it. And what does that do? It streamlines auditing process, minimizing duplicative efforts, so that if you're starting on the journey of CCM, you also have the coverage for these compliance standards as well. By clarifying responsibilities through the shared secure responsibility model, you'll hear me say it SSRM through the course of this presentation. CCM helps avoid critical gaps that often occur in multi-cloud or hybrid environments. Mapping controls to SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, as I said, it depends on how you're consuming the cloud, how you're adopting the cloud, how you're using the cloud. CCM makes it easier for teams to adopt only what's relevant to your specific deployment scenarios. And the last is the transparency. How do I know? The CCM underpins the CSA STAR program. And what is that? It's widely used by thousands of organizations to evaluate cloud service providers and drive transparency in the market. So what are the components of the framework that makes CCM v4? It covers a wide range of tools and resources, including controls applicability matrix. I often call this as CAM, implementation guidelines, auditing guidelines, to address various aspects of cloud security. All of this is really important when you are actually starting your journey of cloud security, or you're maturing your journey in cloud security. Core controls and the cake standardize security expectations and streamline assessment across diverse cloud environments. Again, all of these are really helpful when you are actually looking at the cloud from an objective view, but outsider, not as a vendor, or not actually looking at through the lens of a vendor. CCM v4 also includes CCM Lite, SSRM guidelines. Mapping provide really flexibility, clarity on shared responsibilities. And that's what's really important. Sometimes you look at the contract from cloud provider and you don't know the blurry lines. What does actually cloud responsibility? What is my responsibility? A lot of us have made some of those mistakes. We're lift and shift. We moved everything from on-prem data center a decade ago to cloud, but we lost that. Who owns what? CCM gives you that clear visibility and helps you actually keep it on track. Alignment with major compliance frameworks, as I said. What else it includes? It includes gap analysis, matrix enablement, continuous improvement by helping really control gaps and highlighting those gaps as well, tracking updates, measuring effectiveness over time. So all of that is jam-packed in the CCM package, if you will. How many domains? That's the most common question. Well, the CCM v4 comprises 17 security domains with 197 controls, covering everything from application security to identity and access management. These domains help ensure clarity on control ownership, architectural relevance, and organizational needs across the entire cloud stack. Okay, so far I have explained how CSA CCM v4 works and how people have actually gone through and used it. Now we have with us Cloud Security Alliance Senior Research Analyst, Marina, who's going to explain us how AI CM, well, again, everybody's talking about AI. That's where Cloud Security Alliance went in and actually created AI Cloud Matrix as well, and Marina is going to be talking to us today about that. So, Marina, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, let's talk about AICM.
So, the need for the AI controls matrix was born actually from a very basic concern that not only users but also regulators, policymakers, and even Gen AI service provider may have, like, can I trust these services? And what exactly does trust mean, right? It means to have a system that is reliable, robust, accountable, transparent, and also that preserves privacy and is fair. So from this need, from this concern, we imagined to build on the CCM and take it a step further, building the AI cloud controls matrix, which is our tool to help organizations use have a transparent and accountable but also secure deployment, development, and maintenance of AI services.
Marina, one of the questions that we get that AI is still new and a lot of people are still learning how to use it, adopt it, and are these control matrix around who or the providers who are building AI or those who are actually consuming AI? Like, where does this fit in practitioner role or more vendor role?
It is on both. Actually, we also explain the responsibilities of who is to implement this control, who is responsible for its safety, and we do it through five actors, six responsibilities. Is it the model provider? Is the application provider? Is it the cloud service provider? The orchestrated service provider? Is it a shared responsibility? So yes, it is a holistic, let's say, approach as much as possible. Yes. Now, as I said, the idea is to have a trustworthy Gen AI service, something that is measurable, and that is why we based it on the cloud controls matrix. So the idea is from before. It is nothing new. It is just a little bit more specific, let's say, to AI. We can see that it is a framework of controls of control objectives. It is divided in 18 domains. The CCM has 17. Here for the AICM, we have 18 domains because we introduced a new one, which is called model security. And we have a total of 242 controls, from which 46 are also newly introduced and are AI specific. And as we can see in the next slide, this work is done by subject matter experts. These are the domains that you can see right now, the 18, as I said. MDS on the right side in the middle of the column, MDS is model security, and it is the new one, the new domain that we introduced. The rest, I believe you are familiar from the CCM. And as all CSA working groups, this working group, this initiative is also done from volunteers, from subject matter experts, is also vendor agnostic. And if anyone is interested, please, you are more than welcome to join. It is open for everyone.
Yeah,
uh,
so
yes.
let's talk about this review actually. So it is open for review right now. So if you want to go ahead and we'll post the link in comment section. You can go and request review. Mirna, why don't we actually walk through the people how to review this Excel and just give a kind of sneak peek at what they are expecting and what exactly they need to review. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll actually go to the peer review Excel and we'll start from the top. Go ahead, explain these pillars and
Yes.
the red lines, what they represent.
Okay, so this AI controls matrix, it is a Google spreadsheet. As I said, it is a framework of 242 controls. These controls are on the left side of the screen. They are described by the control domain they belong to. by the control title, by a control ID, which is unique for each of them so that we can identify them, and also by the description, the control specification, as you can see there in column A, B, C, D, in column D, sorry, it's a little bit small, the screen. And on the right side, we are then mapping or addressing these controls in 5 key dimensions. We specify whether each of these controls is AI specific, cloud related, or both, and that is the first column in the red that you can see, the control type. And then yes, and then if we go to the right, then we have the other categories, which is the applicability and ownership, like who is responsible for this control. Is it the model provider, the application provider, or the cloud service provider? Then yes, so this is the whole list. Then we have the architectural relevance, which answers whether this control applies to layers of the Gen AI stack, like the physical, the infrastructure, the compute, or the storage. We also identify the lifecycle phases, the LLM lifecycle phases that this control affects. Is it applicable in the preparation phase or the deployment phase? And if yes, which of these sub-phases is it implemented? And then at the end, we also have the threat categories. We have identified 9 threat categories for AI services. And with the true or false, we answer whether this control mitigates a specific threat. Like, for example, if it mitigates, if it addresses model manipulation, we say yes, true. If it does not, then the value there is false. And what we want with this peer review is people who can go and check whether these values are correct or are not correct, whether we have done something wrong or well, or what else we might improve. Any feedback is welcome, so feel free.
I think that's the call for action here for our subject matter experts to go in, look at these values based on all the information you have in the previous columns, and help Cloud Security Alliance to validate if this is correct or not. And if there is any feedback that you want to give, you can go ahead and right click and comment there. Okay, let's go back to the slides.
Yes. So what you just saw may look a little bit complex. So I'm going to try and demystify it. It's not as complex as it looks, although there were a lot of cells. It is really, really simple once we explain it. The AI controls matrix, right? At the core, it has these 242 controls. And as you can see on the diagram, we approach them from several key dimensions in order to ensure clarity and practicality. So starting from the left top, we have the control type, as we said, which tells us whether the control is relevant to the cloud environments, to AI systems, or both. Then for these controls, we say which is its applicability and its ownership. We have 6 kinds of responsibility for control implementation between the different actors. For 4 layers of the Gen AI LLM service delivery models. The Gen AI Ops, the model, the orchestrated service, and the Gen AI application. For each of these 4 layers, we say whether this control is a responsibility of the model provider, of the application provider, of the cloud service provider, or whether it's shared, for example, between the model provider and the CSP, and so on. Then the third box is the architectural relevance through the Gen AI stack components, and it describes the which parts of the Gen AI stack, the 6 layers, does this control impact? Does it impact the physical infrastructure, like servers and data centers, the network, the compute, storage applications, or data layers. Then to the right, we have the next dimension, or the next pillar, you can call it, which is the lifecycle relevance. This explains the lifecycle alignment of each of the control, meaning at what stage of the AI lifecycle should this control be applied. We have 6 phases here for the life cycle of the LLM. We have the phase of preparation, of development, evaluation and validation, deployment, and service retirement. Delivery, sorry, I forgot to say. Then the last dimension is the threat category. We specify here what risks does this control address. We have 9 threat categories as identified in our previous work, the threats taxonomy, and we say whether a control addresses model manipulation, data poisoning, sensitive data disclosure, model theft, insecure supply chain, insecure plugins, denial of service, or governance failure. And with true or false, we identify whether this control mitigates that threat or not. And if we go to the next slide, you can see also I've taken some screenshots of what you saw earlier, which is the online document, the spreadsheet, and how these appear, how these values, these pillars or these key dimensions for each of the controls appear on the document. On the left, with the green circle, are the controls. Sorry, I must have done, I think I moved my finger too close to the camera, sorry for that. On the left, you can see the controls with the green circle, and on the right, you can see the first dimension or the first pillar, which is the control type, whether the control is AI related, cloud related, or cloud specific. Then the third circle is pillar 2, or the second dimension, which is the control applicability and ownership, the 4 layers of the Gen AI service delivery models. And which responsibility, which let's say actor has a responsibility for this control in these 4 layers. As you can see, yes, and also the shared responsibility appeared there. Then the third dimension or the third pillar is the architectural relevance, which describes whether this control is applicable to the physical components, to the network, to compute, storage, app, and data. True or false, again, say yes or no, it is applicable, it is not applicable, it should be deployed there, it should not. And the next 2 slides also show the same, the life cycle relevance, the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sorry, 6, I always forget this. The 6 phases of the LLM lifecycle, and for each phase we say where this control belongs to. Like for example, in development, it may belong to the guardrails subcategory, or it may belong to design and training and supply chain, etc. And then the last one, the last dimension, is the threats, the 9 threats. This number I always remember. And true or false, again, show whether this control addresses a specific threat or not.
And that's the peer review right now open to go in and look at and validate the correctness of the threat categories and if the control actually mitigates the threat or not. So again, the link will be in the comments here. Go ahead, look at it. Again, this is a good learning opportunity as well. Even though if you're not subject matter expert, there's a great opportunity to actually learn and understand all the controls, the AI threat categories, because a lot of the information here, it can be really good educational for your organization or for yourself as well. So again, if you are subject matter expert, go ahead and give your feedback via right-clicking and commenting, or it could be a good learning opportunity for you as well.
Yes. And I've included an example on how to read the control. So this is, let's say, the more descriptive example. I think the most helpful might be the diagram that follows this. I just included both just in case for anyone, because people have different ways of understanding something. So this first one describes in words how to read the values of a control. I have taken the example of control A and A02, which is called independent assessment, and its description says that it's a control on conducting independent audits to evaluate compliance, risk mitigation, and overall security. And then the rest of the values describe that this control, for example, is cloud and AI related, which means that it addresses risks both in both domains. The applicability and ownership is it is shared between the service cloud service provider, the model provider, and the application provider. When it comes to architectural relevance, it is relevant to the physical infrastructure, to compute storage and data layers of the Gen AI stack. And its lifecycle alignment covers the preparation, the development, evaluation, deployment, and retirement stages or phases of the LLM lifecycle. And the last dimension, the last category, shows that this control A and A02 independent assessment control, it mitigates threats of the threat of model manipulation, data poisoning, insecure supply chain, and governance failure. And the next slide is basically the same, just in a diagram, as you can see. And I believe it shows the multidimensional approach of the AI controls matrix, sorry, in addressing the risk, the responsibilities, and the life cycle stages. And it also, if we take it a step further, it can also help gain some additional results or deductions. Like, for example, in the life cycle alignment, when we see where it applies to, we can also understand that the responsible teams are the GRC team and the internal audit team. And this analysis also helps to make some key exclusions, like this control A and A02, for example, is not directly relevant to cybersecurity, legal privacy, or HR teams. And this way we know where exactly to aim and who needs to get involved in implementing it.
Awesome. I think this covers all three ways of consuming information. So just to kind of recap, here you have the actual raw format from the Excel. If someone wants to go in and start looking at it, here is how the text-based version of the same information, how to consume it. And third is the pictorial way or the diagram way, if you will, with all the boxes, alignment, how you explain. So Marina, this really helps. Thanks so much. Okay, once again, for all the listeners and viewers, the link is going to be in the comments. Go ahead and look at the peer review of AI Cloud Matrix. If not for the commenting, at least for the learning and education purposes. Once again, Marina, thanks so much for your help and your insights today.
Thank you for having me. I hope I helped a little bit, and I hope it is a tool that helps organization in navigating this technology that is basically changing our everyday life.